What are the things that they're valuing out of remote employees?
It's a level of experience that helps. Most of us probably have about a year or so of doing some things remotely, even if it was all of a sudden I'm much better at doing email at home. That kind of thing could just slip a line into your resume, could really help.
If you're even considering a new job, man, it is a terrific time. We're in the middle of the Great Resignation. You heard that term? It's a shakeup of the job market that we haven't seen in a long time. Employees seem to have the upper hand. So if you're thinking about changing jobs, man, now is a good time to improve your training or find a new opportunity. But what exactly is going on and how do you capitalize on it? That's the subject today as we interview an executive recruiter, Aaron Schneider of the Petenwell Group. Aaron, it is great to see you. First of all, thanks for coming on. How have you been since last time we talked?
Pat, this is great. I always enjoy our conversations, whether we stream them live or if we just have them in person. So let's jump in.
Well, yeah. So here's my first professionally crafted question. What the heck is going on? What is the Great Resignation all about?
Right now, we're in a situation where you have employers that have needs, so they're active, and then you have candidates that are also active. One of the big drivers of the Great Resignation right now is this work from home situation where you have people that have gotten into a new rhythm. 1 in 4 right now are saying, if I have to go back into my office, I'm going to leave. I'm going to either get out of the workforce for now, or I'm going to find an opportunity that allows me to work from home.
Prior to the pandemic, how often were candidates asking for a work from home situation, and how often were employers offering that?
It was something that was in the marketplace, but it was case by case, but also kind of career specific. But most that just wanted to switch to that environment, that say, hey, I want to start working from home now. If they went in the interview process and they had never done it before, a lot of employers would be like, yeah, I need you in my office. And all that has changed because now every organization that has done hiring in the last 18 months has already figured out how to bring people into the organization without meeting them in person.
Do you think employers are done adapting to that situation, or are they still learning on the fly?
Because the pandemic just seems to not want to loosen up, you're going to find that employers are putting a pause on like all their plans to open up, and even hybrid will be even more hybrid, and you have employers that are ready to say, okay, we might not be able to get people to come back in yet.
Do you think that people will revert back to the pre-pandemic behavior of just going into the office?
There's going to be options. There's just going to be those situations where, a large enough employer will probably have a certain part of their employment population that are just kind of scheduled their employees to work from home. Others, I think that they're just going to look at their culture and say, hey, we're kind of in a work in person organization. It means a lot to us. It gives us more of that feel that we want, that environment that we want. And they're not going to sacrifice that.
One of the things that's happened is that it seems like it's a good time to go find a job. Can you put some words around the opportunity for job seekers at the moment?
As a job seeker, you have to understand that the market's probably shifted a little bit from where you are currently at. So you kind of have to open up to maybe a different type of company, or maybe your ideal job description or title, or all those type of things are kind of up in there because we are in a disrupted economy right now. We went through this same candidate profile back in 2010, 2011, coming out of the recession, where job seekers often had disrupted resumes too, right? And that's okay. Hiring managers are okay with a little bit of disruption right now in your work history. And so don't let that be like, hey, I got to hide this or whatever the case. Just be honest. Like, hey, I'm underemployed right now. I've been misplaced right now, and I want to get back to what I want to do. And that'll open up some doors.
Let's talk about someone that's upskilling. They're taking courses to become certified with a particular technology skill. Are employers open right now to talking to those people that will become certified or will have the knowledge in 60 days, 90 days?
It does help open up some of those doors when you might be trying to maybe transition from one industry to another, that you could put those buzzwords and keywords into your resume and have a really good conversation about that. Sometimes that bachelor's plus a specialty certification is really valuable in the marketplace.
We have a question from the chat from Brian. If someone is looking for a remote position and is new to it, what should or can they expect from what you've seen or heard?
I think that you might have more remote experience than you anticipate, but you're going to have to build at least some experience around that too. If you're going in and interviewing against other people that are going to say that they have a remote experience previously or already looking at that. If the job description, hey, this is remote, you're going to have something at this point, I think, that allows you to come across as somebody who's capable and experienced in remote work.
And as you're working with the hiring companies, what are the things that they're valuing out of remote employees?
It's a level of experience that helps, right? So if they're an established professional, there's a lot more confidence in that person being able to work from home and understand the business. Most of us probably have about a year or so of doing some things remotely, even if it was all of a sudden I'm much better at doing email at home. That kind of thing could just slip a line into your resume, could really help open up those doors.
When you hear stories about the Great Resignation, it seems like, oh, you can get hired right away. But what is the ecosystem like if you are looking for a job? Is it really getting interviewed and hired right away? Or is it just a little bit of hype and it still takes just as long to get a job as it did before?
I hate to land on both sides of the fence here, Pat, but I got two scenarios that keep happening. There's two scenarios that keep happening. There is a group of employers that have now sped up their interview process. They found that if they use platforms like Zoom, they found that they could do it quicker. This is a great opportunity. So on the other side, there are candidates I'm talking to that are surprised at how long it is taking, even though they've had a couple of interviews. In a lot of cases, what that is there probably is a need within that organization, and they're just a little nervous right now to pull the trigger.
You mentioned the Zoom interview. Having a place where you can take a Zoom call and look like a professional, that is an asset nowadays. But can we have a real talk about the hiring process? Is it a little bit out of control to do 4, 5, 6 interviews for a semi-entry level position?
Yeah, I don't think that that's extremely common to get to 6 interviews. I think most organizations that are doing that are probably wondering, they have somebody inside their organization say, why are we doing 6 interviews? That person might be in the minority, but that's probably a broken interview process if it's going that long. I would have, first thing, if somebody was going through that, I would wonder, are they really a team environment? If it's taking 6 interviews, it might be a little bit of a red flag.
As an executive recruiter, you're in the middle of it. You live the job market every day. Is the Great Resignation hype media created, or is it real?
There's a couple of things that are driving it. Like I said, there's a good number of people that are very confident in the marketplace that if they wanted to step out of their current job because they had to go back in office, that is an actual phenomenon that's happening. It is definitely something that I think the media wants to run with in some cases because it's a fun buzzword. It's different than when we couldn't put people to work. It's different than when employers can't get other candidates to even interview because they're afraid to come to make a job change. So right now it's kind of that fun, happy feeling when candidates want to look and employers want to interview candidates.
If someone's watching this and they're looking to get a better job or take some training and improve their lot in life, what kind of advice would you give them that maybe you haven't mentioned yet?
The one thing that stands out above everything, and I see it all the time, and most people will say, well, I've already done this, but your online presence is just so valuable right now. And it could be in multiple different platforms. The one that's the most popular and the most used is obviously LinkedIn. Within that, do your own little research if you have to find out what a good LinkedIn profile looks like, or stop over to my LinkedIn page. I have an article posted right there. You can have free for you to look at. It gives you a nice checklist of what you might need to really start either down a new career path or just find that new job. And having a fully completed LinkedIn profile with even contact information readily available will change your success rate.
We're here to help people find a better job, improve their career, go further in life. And this conversation was really helpful. Aaron Schneider from the Petenwell Group.
Great.
Thanks a lot for coming on the show. I appreciate it.
Pat, thanks for asking. It was good to be here.
Hey, it's Pat Miller, the Idea Coach, here from the Interview Podcast. If you enjoyed this information and you want to watch more of the podcast or some other helpful videos like resume tips, interview best practices, and more career training info, you can get it on our website. And here's the best part. It's all free. Check out the website at careerdevelopmentsolutions.com/webinars. One more time, that's careerdevelopmentsolutions.com/webinars. See you there.